Hey everybody, Robert here at Kogen Dojo with Jeff Mount from Baltimore BJJ. Thanks for coming out, Jeff.
No problem, man.
Jeff came out when Monroe Hall was here, and we kind of hooked up then and wanted to make sure, we had some good training that night, wanted to make sure that we had him out here. And he's going to teach some competition strategies tonight. You competed a lot in jiu-jitsu, huh?
Yeah, I've competed a lot. This August of this year marks my 11th year of practicing mixed martial arts. Obviously, jiu-jitsu is my paramount, way of training. I've done some kickboxing and some boxing and some Muay Thai just to get prepped for some amateur fights. So I got a little bit, just a bit like a peppered amount of knowledge on some of those skills. But jiu-jitsu is my main aspect. But yeah, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 11 years, almost all of it exclusively at Baltimore BJJ, which is my home stomping grounds, and. Yeah, so I've competed a lot from white belt until recently here. Now it's still a brown belt, and some of the tactics I would use and game plans I would use have benefited me greatly. And it's nothing that's too fancy. It's stuff that works off of traditional movement, traditional gripping, basic setups, but just being really game planned about how you go about acquiring those positions.
I remember, actually, we were talking last time when you were here, that you were competing a bunch, but then when you ran across Monroe, that he's the one who kind of taught you about strategizing for competition that really brought your level up.
Yeah, big time. I used to go into tournaments with a mindset of being like, okay, everybody's better than me, so I have to try and prove myself. And I would either be ultra aggressive or I'd get stalled out and panic sometimes. And I'd still get some wins because I just would tough it out. But I came across Monroe at purple belt, and he was a brown belt, and he was going about his training that he would have an entrance to how he would set up something, whether he's going to do a takedown or a guard pull, and I kind of like clicked up my head. I was like, man, he has like an idea about how he wants to approach the match before, weeks out in advance. And then I had spent some time in Florida, and when I got back, our school, Baltimore Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, had joined with the school that he had just came from. And man, like the way he had set it up, he was like, oh, if you want to compete, what's your entrance? And I was like, wow, nobody's ever asked me that. I didn't know if I was going to do a takedown or a guard pull or, wait to try and do a flying pass or, anything of that nature. So he really like opened up the idea of how to approach the game, especially at brown belt. You don't get any easy outs. Like, you might catch a guy and choke him right away, but it's rare that happens. So having him in my corner back at Baltimore BJJ really, really rounded out my game. And it's all kind of coming full circle. I got a bunch of skills that kind of were like floating around, and now I can kind of like mold them all into a linear stream of attacks, and it's paid off really, really well, especially this past year.
That's awesome. So, what got you into jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts in the first place?
When I was a kid, believe it or not, I had in the 90s. My mom and dad had like one of those illegal cable boxes, and we used to watch Royce Gracie fighting, and I used to watch all these early fights, and I was like, that guy's the man. And then I was skateboarding for a really long time, and I didn't pay attention to it. And then years later, I saw that UFC was still a thing, and I was like, man, I wonder if that guy's still doing it. And at the time when I started watching it, Matt Hughes was really, really dominant. And then I saw him fight Royce Gracie, and I was like, oh, this guy's still around. I mean, it didn't go Royce's way that night, but that really opened it up. It's like, man, like all he did was grapple. He didn't box him up or do any kind of flashy moves. He just took him down and beat him in his own game. And that just kind of opened my mind to it. I really, really liked it. And sometime in my 20s, I think I got into a street fight. I got my butt kicked, and I wanted to learn how to be a better fighter. And I had aspirations of being an MMA fighter, and I followed that for a little while, but that dream kind of fizzled out after I had some success. It wasn't for me. But the jiu-jitsu always stuck with me. I'm a kind of a person who likes to think out what he does and put pieces together and, really, really perfect what it is in my art, whether it was skateboarding or now jiu-jitsu. And it just clicked with me, and no matter how bad my body hurts, I still do it every week.
Well, so what makes you stick with it in spite of how bad your body hurts and all the time that you've put in and everything?
Throughout the years, it was always just the aspect of like you can get good at something, but you're never perfect at it, and like you can always kind of mold it and change it the way you like. And more recently, in these years, as I'm getting a little bit older, I really, really like teaching. I feel like I have a lot to bring to the table, even though my game isn't super fancy, like you'd see on like some YouTube or some, submission fighting highlights or anything like that. I feel like the game that I bring is easy for novice people or for some guys that are advanced, or purple belts, brown belts that are trying to compete and make a game their own. I feel like I bring a lot to the table, and I just have a huge passion for it now. If I can get a room full of 3 guys or 30 guys, I mean, that's the kind of group that I just want to be around and show, the stuff that works for me and showcase that to other people.
Well, tell us a little bit about Baltimore BJJ. Where are you guys located? Who runs the school? What kind of instructors you got over there?
So when I started, Lee Synkowsk, the owner, jiu-jitsu black belt there under the Migler brothers, he had a gym in Rosedale. I think that was his second location. He had just gotten there, and I started there. It was a crop of a bunch of guys that all came in at the same time. We're all white belts and blue belts. All kind of started around the same time, and then he had needed some more space, so we had moved into a location where we currently are now in Essex, and it's just really blossomed. We have more than enough mat space. The gym is double divided, kind of like how you guys have here. You have your front mat, and where a lot of the beginners and basics classes the advanced classes will be conducted, and we have a dressing room that divides it from a back room where all the beginners will practice, and that room is, that way they're not intimidated by seeing all these high level jiu-jitsu players throwing each other and getting these big strangles and arm bars on, so they can practice at a pace and kind of crop up together, and then when they're ready and if they got a couple stripes on their white belt, they can move up into the advanced room and practice up there.
I like that, so you don't break the new guys right away and break their spirit, break their bodies.
We have a wave of guys, like 10 or 15 guys come in throughout a set of months, some of them from the military or just moving into town, and they just get thrashed by guys like, I do this every day, been here for 3 years, and the learning curve is a little uneven. So sometimes out of 15 guys, you might have one crazy guy sticks around and say, I love this.
Yeah.
But that's really not how you want to run your business.
Yeah, we definitely came from kind of survival of the fittest school. For me, it's what kept me coming back, that I literally was getting my butt kicked every day for 2 years,
Yeah.
And I was like one of the only white belts for most of that time. And then all of a sudden, new white belts started coming in, and I got to turn the tables a little bit. But it wasn't easy, and it certainly isn't for everybody. And it really was just pure stubbornness that kept me coming back. Like one of these days I'm going to get these guys.
The stubborn ones are the best ones. Those are the guys that they don't care if you strangle them. They just want to keep learning.
Yeah.
And eventually they'll crack your code, and they'll be like, my toughness brought me this far. Now what else can I do? So it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I love jiu-jitsu for that fact that like you can, everybody's personality kind of can find its way, throughout it. So awesome. You said you don't really have anything special going on that you want to promote tonight.
Nah, not right now. I just I competed a lot throughout this past year, and I did really, really well. So I've been kind of hitting the cruise control most of this summer. I just transitioned to a new career path, so it kind of absorbed a lot of my my spare time and my work time. But right now I'm focused on teaching. I teach every Tuesday the advanced concepts class at Baltimore BJJ, and then for the past couple of weeks while our head instructor was out, I was teaching the nogi advanced class on Saturday. So I got to teach a gi and a no-gi class, 2 days out of the week, which is really great. Like I said, I love teaching. I love, trying to showcase anything that I have success with to somebody else and see if they can, mold it into their own. So that's basically what I've been doing for the past couple of months, is just teaching, and hyping up the gym to if somebody else is competing. Like, everybody try to focus on this guy, help him out, get his cardio and his endurance ready for a competition. So I like bringing other people up. I feel like I was in the spotlight for a little while, so let somebody else rise up.
Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller.
I love that guy.
So, you guys are under Lee Synkowsk, and he's under the Migler brothers.
Yeah,
he got his technically you're kind of a Helson affiliate in a way.
Yeah, we're a leaf on that tree. Phil and Rick Migler-Reese both got their black belts from Helson many years ago, living down there in Brazil for some time, and so that's just another branch of the Gracie family. It's which is pretty cool. I can date my my lineage all the way back directly, which is not, some people can't really do that, or it's just that watered down, or affiliates kind of have like a collapse or something like that, or people lose the relationship with who gave them their black belt. So it's nice that I can look upon Lee and Monroe as not just my instructors or teammates. They're really good friends of mine, and I know that right to them is Phil and Rick, and then right to them is Helson. So it's nice to know from somebody like my perspective. I like the lineage. I like the loyalty of the teams, of who you came up with is who you stick with, especially if you're friends with them. That's a big piece of jiu-jitsu for me. It's not just the sport. I go in 2 days a week. I'm around my friends, around my people that I consider family. So I like that aspect. We can take that all the way back.
Well, for training purposes, this is a question that I've kind of been thinking about a little bit lately. Like, what advice do you have? I'm going to put it this way. What's the number one thing that new people ignore or should be focusing on that they're not in terms of their training? Like, should they be rolling more? Should they be drilling more? Should they be more focused on less techniques? Or, what do you think it is that people, what's the advice that you have for people that are starting that may push them ahead faster than they would on their own thinking for themselves?
Yeah. I have like three big keys that I always tell white belts is, number one, be patient. Always try to be patient. Even if you're a super athletic CrossFit player, Spartan Games runner guy, just be patient. You're always going to get humbled. I get humbled by blue belts sometimes. It's a part of the game. The other thing is, try to have fun with it. It's all you're paying for this every month with wherever your gym membership is. Try to remember to have fun. It's not everybody coming through the door is looking to kill you or be killed. So try to have fun, have a good laugh with the guy if you get swept. Fight hard and train hard, but at the same time, have fun. And third is just keep an open mind about it. Everybody comes from a different walk of life, and they may be doing martial arts for a number of different reasons. Some people want to get in shape. Some people are they have some depression issues, and they're just trying to get out of that realm of what's giving them a burden every day. Some people they might just be their mind is wired different. They're running a really high intelligence wire there, and that's just another outlet for them. So they may see jiu-jitsu in a different aspect than you. So always have an open mind when you go into it.
Nice, good, awesome. Well, getting ready to get started. Thank you again for coming out.
Awesome,
and is it BaltimoreBJJ.com?
Yep, BaltimoreBJJ.com. Our schedule's on there, a list of all of our instructors. If you ever guys want to stop in for a roll, I teach Tuesdays, and then we have open mats on Sundays at 11 a.m., which is usually a pretty packed house. A couple of different affiliates will come in and have a good roll there. So always
nice.
Invited, no charge on Sundays, just show up with a gi on.
Good. And we're as always at 549 Baltimore Annapolis Boulevard in Severna Park. Come on in and stop by. If you're a member of the school, every Monday night we have a special guest instructor, and it's free to all members. If you want to just stop in and visit, it's $25 for the mat fee for the guest instructor night. And we're at www.kogendojo.com. Follow us on Instagram, Kogen Dojo _self-defense. Follow us on Facebook, like you may already be doing, and come out and try some classes. Have fun. Do some jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. We have Japanese jiu-jitsu, Qigong, and yoga as well. So thank you very much again.
Awesome, brother.
Awesome. Let's get some training in.